My name is Rachel, and I'm 28 years old. For years, I believed that family meant everything. I thought that if I worked hard and supported my parents and my sister Julia, they would always stand by me no matter what. After graduating college, I got a decent job, nothing fancy, but it paid well enough. Month after month, I sent most of my paycheck home. I helped pay for our family's bills, my parents' medical expenses, Julia's college tuition, and even their vacations. Whenever they needed anything, they called me, and I always said yes. There were months I skipped my own meals just to make sure they had enough. When I dreamed about buying my first car or moving to a better apartment, I told myself, family comes first. My time will come later. But deep down, I started noticing little things. Whenever Julia achieved something, even something small, my parents praised her like she was a queen. Whenever I struggled or felt tired, they brushed it off, telling me to work harder and stop complaining. Still, I stayed quiet. I kept working. I kept giving. Then one day, everything changed. I lost my job. The company I worked for shut down without warning. I packed up my things and left the office in shock, thinking, it's okay. My family will understand. They'll support me until I get back on my feet. But I was wrong. Very wrong. When I told them the news, my father's voice turned cold. My mother didn't even pretend to be sad. Instead, they said things that shattered my heart. You're useless now. We depended on you. If you can't help, don't bother coming around. And just like that, after years of sacrifice, I wasn't family anymore. I was a burden, an embarrassment. Julia didn't even call. In fact, I found out she was marrying a wealthy CEO, and they had decided I wasn't invited to the wedding. No explanation. No apology. Just banned. That night, sitting alone in my tiny apartment, I realized something painful. I wasn't family to them. I was just an ATM, a wallet with a heartbeat. And now that I had nothing to give, I was nothing to them. I wiped my tears, opened my laptop, and booked a one-way ticket to somewhere sunny, somewhere far away. If they didn't want me in their life, then maybe it was time I lived mine for me. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I packed my bags, turned off my phone, and left. The airplane shook gently as it rose higher into the sky. I leaned my head against the window, staring at the clouds, feeling a strange mixture of sadness and relief. For the first time in years, I wasn't worrying about sending money. I wasn't worrying about paying someone else's bills. I wasn't worrying about trying to earn their love. It felt strange, but also peaceful. I had booked a stay at a small, beautiful beach resort. The air smelled like salt and flowers, and the sound of the ocean waves seemed to wash away some of the pain stuck inside my chest. Each morning, I walked along the beach, letting the warm sand bury my feet. Each evening, I watched the sun set over the water, painting the sky with orange and purple colors. I posted a few photos online, me smiling on the beach, me holding a coconut drink, me relaxing under a palm tree. I didn't post them to brag. I posted them for myself, a reminder that I could be happy without them. I knew my family might see the pictures. Maybe they would feel guilty. Maybe they wouldn't care at all. Honestly, I didn't expect anything from them anymore. On the third morning of my trip, I woke up to find my phone buzzing over and over again. I rubbed my eyes, confused. 42 missed calls. 15 voicemails. Over 50 texts. All from my parents, my relatives, even Julia herself. Panic filled their messages. Call us back. It's an emergency. Julia needs help. Please answer. We need you. I sat up, feeling my heart race. What happened? Why were they suddenly desperate to reach me after pushing me away like trash? I listened to one of the voicemails. My mother's voice was shaky and terrified. Rachel, please, there's been a huge problem at the wedding. We need you. Please call back. We're stuck. Julia needs you. I put the phone down slowly. For a moment, I actually felt sorry for them. But then another emotion washed over me. Anger. This was the same family that called me a loser. The same family that abandoned me. The same family that didn't even want me at the wedding. And now they needed me. I stared at the ocean outside my window, feeling the breeze on my face. I took a deep breath. I wasn't rushing to save them. Not this time. If they wanted my help, they were going to learn just how much it costs to treat someone like they're nothing. After sitting quietly for a few minutes, I finally opened one of the longer text messages from my aunt. The more I read, the clearer the picture became. Julia's wedding, the big fancy one they spent months bragging about, had turned into a complete disaster. The outdoor venue they chose was hit by an unexpected storm. Heavy rain flooded the entire area. Tents collapsed. The decorations were ruined. Worse, the nearby roads were washed out by mudslides, and guests were trapped with no way to leave. Their expensive wedding had turned into a nightmare. Emergency services were overwhelmed because of the storm. The police and ambulances were too busy handling more serious disasters around town. They couldn't reach the wedding venue for hours. Julia and her new husband, the CEO, were panicking too because the company's investors were supposed to attend the wedding and seal a new deal. Now the deal was falling apart because everything was in chaos. And to make it even worse, many of the vendors, like the caterers and musicians, demanded full payment up front before they would even try to help fix anything. Guess who used to handle all the family's emergencies?
Me.
Guess who used to smooth over every mistake, organize help, and know all the right people to call?
Me.
But this time, I wasn't there. As I sat on my balcony sipping my coffee, my phone kept buzzing with their desperate calls. Rachel, please just help us once more. We need you.
We're sorry.
Please come back. We'll fix everything. I shook my head and laughed quietly to myself. Now that their precious reputation was crumbling, suddenly I mattered again. But I wasn't the same person anymore. The girl who gave everything and asked for nothing was gone. If they wanted my help, it wouldn't come cheap, and it wouldn't come without consequences. For the first time in my life, I held the power, and I wasn't about to let it go so easily. I sat back, thinking carefully. I could have ignored them completely. I could have blocked every call and let them suffer.
Part of me really wanted to.
But another part of me knew if I handled this the right way, I could make sure they never treated me like trash again. I picked up my phone and typed a short text to my father. I will help, but only under my conditions. If you agree, reply yes. If not, good luck. No begging. No explaining. Within seconds, I got the reply, yes. They were desperate. Good. I sent the next message. 1. You will publicly apologize to me in front of the entire wedding crowd. 2. You will transfer the $50,000 you owe me for the years I supported you. Immediately. 3. You will legally remove my name from all family financial obligations. 4. After this, I am no longer responsible for fixing your problems. I hit send and waited. There was no reply for a few minutes. Then another message came through. We agree. Please hurry. I smiled for the first time in years. They were playing by my rules. I quickly made some calls to emergency contacts I knew, local service providers who still owed me favors. Within a few hours, I had arranged transportation for the trapped guests, new tents for shelter, and food deliveries to keep people calm. I didn't lift a single finger myself. I just made the right calls, something my parents and Julia never learned how to do, because they always had me to clean up after them. And of course, I made sure everything was expensive. Very expensive. If they wanted my help, they were going to pay for it, just like they once made me pay with my life, my energy, and my dreams. That evening, as the last guests were finally rescued and taken home safely, my parents kept calling, thanking me, begging me to forgive them. But I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I had already made my point. Without me, they were nothing. And for once they knew it too. 2 days later, I returned to town, but not to stay. I booked a hotel far from my family's house. I wasn't coming back as their daughter anymore. I was coming back as someone they had to respect or lose everything. The wedding reception had been rescheduled after the storm cleanup. It was supposed to be a celebration of love for Julia and her CEO husband, but the mood was completely different now. Everyone looked nervous, tired, and tense. I arrived at the reception hall right on time, dressed in a simple but sharp black dress. Nothing flashy, but enough to make me look strong and confident. As soon as I entered, the room fell silent. Whispers traveled across the crowd. Is that Rachel? I thought they disinvited her. Why is she here? I ignored them all. I walked straight to the front of the room where my parents and Julia were standing. Their faces were pale. My father took the microphone first. His hands shook. He cleared his throat and said, voice stiff and forced, "We want to apologize to our daughter Rachel for everything. We treated her unfairly. We turned our backs on her when she needed us most. Without her help, none of this would have been possible. We were wrong." A few people in the crowd gasped. Julia stepped forward, tears in her eyes. Not tears of love, but tears of humiliation. She spoke too, though her voice was barely a whisper. "I'm sorry, Rachel. I should have stood by you. You were the only one who ever truly cared." I stood there, feeling their words but not letting them break me. I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I just nodded politely, turned around, and left the stage. Their apology wasn't love. It wasn't family. It was survival. They needed me. They feared losing the only person who had ever truly supported them. And now, they had lost me anyway. Later that evening, I checked my bank account. The $50,000 transfer had arrived, just as I demanded. The legal papers removing my name from their financial messes were signed and delivered to my hotel. Finally, I was free. Free from guilt, free from obligation, free from their selfishness. It was time to start my real life, a life that belonged only to me. After everything was finalized, I checked out of the hotel early the next morning. I didn't say goodbye to anyone. I didn't visit the old family house. I didn't even leave a note. They had made it clear what I meant to them when I lost my job, nothing. Now, I was making it clear what they meant to me. Nothing. I moved to a new city, a fresh place where no one knew my name, my family, or my past. I used part of the $50,000 to rent a small but cozy apartment, not a mansion, not a luxury penthouse, just a peaceful place that was all mine. I also used the rest of the money to start something I had dreamed about for years, my own small consulting business. I helped small companies organize events, plan projects, and manage crises, the kind of work I had secretly been doing for my family for free all those years. Except now, I got paid for it, and people respected me for it. Slowly but surely, my business grew. Clients loved how calm, organized, and reliable I was. They trusted me, something my own family never did. I built real friendships, too. People who valued my kindness without trying to take advantage of it. For the first time, my life was truly mine. Meanwhile, back home, things weren't going so well for my family. Julia's new husband, the CEO, ended up being sued by multiple investors. The company went bankrupt within 6 months. Their fancy house was foreclosed. Their luxury cars were repossessed. My parents, who had thrown me away like garbage, had to sell their home just to cover basic expenses. I heard through distant relatives that Julia had moved back in with them. All 3 of them crammed into a tiny rental house, living on borrowed money and broken pride. They tried reaching out to me once, a single, pitiful email asking if I could help them get back on their feet. I didn't even open it. I deleted it without a second thought. Standing on my new apartment's balcony one evening, watching the sunset, I felt a peace I had never known before. I had no regrets. They chose money over me, and in the end, they lost both. Meanwhile, I chose myself, and I was finally beautifully free. Looking back now, I realized that losing my job wasn't the end of my life. It was the beginning of my freedom. For years, I believed that love had to be earned by sacrifice. I thought if I gave enough, worked hard enough, stayed silent long enough, maybe I would be enough. But the truth was simple. Real family doesn't love you for what you can give. Real family loves you for who you are. My parents and Julia never understood that. They only loved my money, my loyalty, my obedience, not me. And when I stopped giving, their true colors showed. At first, that truth broke my heart. But now, it sets me free. Today, I live my life for myself. I wake up every morning knowing that I owe nothing to anyone who would only love me when it's easy and abandon me when it's hard. I built my own home, my own success, and my own happiness, all without them. I don't hate them. I don't even think about them much anymore. They made their choice, and I made mine. I chose peace. I chose freedom. I chose me.